Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second Spyro game. I want to talk about something real quick here. So, I went into yesterday, or sorry, 2 days ago, excuse me, stream, pretty blind, right? I didn't do any behind the scenes research. I didn't even know the name of like the company that worked on it. I didn't know Elijah Wood was in it. Elijah Wood. I didn't know anything, right? I walked in blind, and I think that was the correct call. But now that we've seen what is now the fifth worst game I've ever reviewed, winning. Now I did a little bit of a deep dive. It was only a little bit one, but there was one factoid which I'll get to in a minute, which crossed my radar, and I was like, wait. And then I looked at some dates and I double checked something because I just had this random thought fire off in the back of my mind. And I'm like, hold up, what? And so then I did a deep dive. And I did some research on this game, this trilogy, actually, in specific. And holy crap. Okay, so this is, I'm probably the only person in the world who finds this interesting. So forgive me. If there is one other person who finds this whole little thing I'm about to share with you interesting, then you're awesome. Please feel free to share, because I spent way too much time researching this just for essentially my own curiosity. Okay. So, in order to actually properly sit here and discuss Spyro, I have to talk about World of Warcraft. Now, to start talking about World of Warcraft, I have to talk about Blizzard. In 1993, Blizzard, who technically hadn't even actually come up with the name Blizzard yet, and wasn't recognizable as what we know of as Blizzard yet, wanted to start publishing their own games, okay? For those who don't remember, Warcraft 1 was like their fifth or so game, something like that. And all of their games were successful. They were financially successful. They were creatively lauded. People liked them. Everything was cool. So they wanted to have a bigger piece of the pie. They didn't like the publisher deals they were getting, which makes sense because publisher deals have literally always been crap. So they bounced around for a bit and did some things. And finally they came around to an idea where a company that you've never heard of called Davidson and Associates bought Blizzard for about $7 million. I want you to put that in your mind somewhere. That back in 1993, someone bought Blizzard for $7 million. That is the only time anyone ever actually paid for Blizzard, for reasons we'll get to in a minute. Anyways, so then a sequence of events happened I had to write down to keep track of because it's so stupid. So Davidson was bought. I'm going to really truncate this because there's a whole story just in this paragraph, okay? Davidson was bought out by CNC International. No, not Command & Conquer. That would be funny, though. CNC International merged with a hotel and real estate franchise called HFS because, of course, a real estate franchise is the perfect thing to merge with a gaming publisher company in order to form a company called Sendant. Unfortunately, it turns out Sendant was I forget the name of the specific fraud, but it was a company whose only purpose in existing was to commit fraud. As a result of that fraud, their stock prices absolutely plummeted once that was found out, which meant that they were gobbled up extremely cheaply, for less than $7 million, by the way, by a company called Havas. Now, you've probably never heard of Havas, and that's fine, no worries there, because Havas only existed for, I think, near as I can tell, about a year before they were purchased up by a gaming company you probably actually have heard of, called Vivendi. Now, when I say a gaming company, I am lying to you, of course. Vivendi is it's one of those holding companies. You know, it's a company. The simplest way to explain what a holding company is it's a company to make money. To be extremely clear about this, obviously all companies want to make money to some extent or another. What I mean by that, though, is like Blizzard makes games to make money, right? You know, McDonald's makes food to make money. Holding companies make money. They don't produce anything. They don't do anything. They are a company whose only purpose in existence is to try and to own things to then make money. So it's just, yeah, no, they're leeches and they're horrible, and I don't want to get into the politics of this. So the long and the short of it is that's Vivendi. Now, most of you have probably heard of Vivendi to some extent or another. They're kind of the first THQ. They didn't implode in the same way that THQ did. Vivendi's still around, actually. But they're one of the first big THQ-style companies out there. If you've never heard of THQ, you've probably heard of Embracer, which is the latest THQ. The only reason I keep mentioning THQ is the THQ implosion was really, really, really big and very well publicized. Oh my god, and I've got something stuck in my eye. This is Mr. Red's fault. He put this here just to distract me. Now, why is all this relevant? Well, all of this is how Blizzard ended up under a company called Vivendi. You know, another company that Vivendi picked up was called Sierra. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell does Sierra have to do with anything? Lore, you've lost the plot, man. Well, yes, I have. But, so here's the thing. Sierra had Spyro. Now, right about when Sierra was gobbled up by Vivendi, Vivendi started doing this fun little thing where they started making the Sierra executives, who were technically in charge of the gaming division of Vivendi. Because remember, Vivendi's not really a gaming company. They're a holding company. They started making their Sierra executives into puppets and started forcing them to do really dumb things in order to make money. Because that's what executives do. That's their job, is to waste money in an effort to try and make money. I wish I was making that up. So, if you ever, from now on, even though technically it's Sierra, and if you ever like read interviews or do research on this or whatever, you'll hear people referring to Sierra. It's Vivendi. So for the sake of simplicity and to make this story a little more coherent, I'm just going to refer to them as Vivendi. Okay, cool. So, Vivendi started making a bunch of really, really, really dumb decisions back to back. And these, the jailer, Vivendi started pumping onerous amounts of money into obviously failed prospects that were never going to go anywhere in an effort to try and do something different. That was their whole modus operandi for, I want to say about 4 years, give or take, from about, say, 2003 to about 2007, give or take. So they loved, and this, I'm not actually joking, this was their approach, this was their deliberate strategy. Do something nobody else is doing, and maybe it'll be the thing that wins. You with me so far? Now, I'm now going to share a quote from the producer of this game. So, this guy was actually asked directly about what it was like working with Elijah Wood and Gary Oldman. So, he spends a paragraph. I'm not even going to read it because he spends a paragraph. Blah 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 blah. They're great actors. I love their acting. Blah blah blah. Then he answers, which I'll read in a second. Then he spends 3 paragraphs talking about all the other actors. So kind of bypassing the question completely. But he said, but he has this one paragraph which caught my eye tremendously. Check this out. One of the constraints of being an Australian-based developer is it's simply not practical to fly our entire... Hang on, this is a little loud. Let's go to more appropriate music. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's get the doom and gloom going on here. One of the location constraints of being an Australian-based developer is it's simply not practical to fly our entire development team to Los Angeles for the voice recording sessions. Where we do get to work with the voice acting talent is in working their interpretations of the characters into the game. Did you catch that? So remember how I said no voice direction? Let me say that one more time. We can't work with them In fact, he outright admits, and as much as producer speak admits, they never even met. The development team never even met the voice actors working on this in LA. And what we do get to work with is we work with the voice acting, or hang on, sorry, we work their interpretations of the characters into the game. Yeah, actual zero voice direction. There is a literal chance these people did not even walk into a booth to record their lines. Hang on. Gets worse. So, significance? You remember how I mentioned Elijah Wood is not cheap? Well, I did a little digging. Obviously, they don't disclose these kind of numbers openly, but if you check budgets and you check certain things at the time, you'll notice that this was expensive as crap. We were joking about how most of the budget went to Elijah Wood and Gary Oldman and David Spade. It's not a joke. Now, it's hard to come up with hard numbers here, but a little bit of an off the back of the envelope kind of rough calculation based on how other projects were going at the time, also under Sierra and also under Vivendi at the time. Near as I can tell, all of the budget, 100% of it, went to those actors. And then the development team were told, okay, you get to own the debt. In other words, there's I know that sounds strange, but this is actually a semi-common thing. Sometimes game developers will work for free. Sometimes they will take out a loan. Sometimes, like, yeah, they'll pay for lunch. Like, they'll feed you in the office. And that's it. Oh, God. L.A. Noire is a whole story, Omega Legion. Don't even get me started on that one. There's a story behind L.A. Noire, which is a shame, because it's, by all accounts, a very good game. Anyways, so, yeah. What does all this have to do, though? Like, so they dump all this money on these big box office labels, and they got Elijah Wood, and they very specifically got him because he was in Lord of the Rings, and they wanted to make a Lord of the Rings style property, and they wanted to do it with one of their existing IPs, and so they reached out to a couple of developers who were willing to work on the cheap. They got a hold of these Australian folk, and the Australian folk was like, yeah, no, we'll work on that. Because they wanted to work on a Spyro game. So they worked on the cheap. Really, really, really on the cheap. Yeah, Gary Oldman was also in Harry Potter. Also true. I mean, Gary Oldman is kind of like one of those venerated actor things. He is ironically cheaper than Elijah Wood at this point in time. Because Elijah Wood had the rising star thing. But he's still, point being, Jesus Christ. And they just... So if you ever wonder why a lot of this game feels strangely cheap, that's why. But I promised you that we'd have to talk about World of Warcraft. So, anybody who's heard me talk about WoW, which I've done, I think a couple of times, knows that there was this situation. Vivendi was an anchor around Blizzard's neck for the entirety of its existence. And Vivendi filed for bankruptcy and was going through bankruptcy proceedings when WoW came out. Think about the timeline here for just a second. WoW then came out, was a smash success, and then Vivendi held a vacuum over WoW for, I want to say about 3-ish years, 3 or 4 years, and just sucked all of the profit out of WoW to go pay off their debts. And one of those debts was paying off Elijah Wood's Gary Oldman and David Spade. This is not a joke. This game trilogy is literally one of the reasons why it took WoW until, like, I don't remember the exact timeline. I had to look it up more specifically recently. Sometime around Wrath-ish. It's when Vivendi had finally offloaded most of their principal debt and started getting solvent again. And at that point, Activision, well, Bobby Kotick, let's be honest with ourselves, swooped in and was like, hey, we'll take that off your hands. By the way, you just kind of feel bad for Blizzard at some point, right? You're like a used cigarette just being passed around. 7 million. 7 million bucks, and they ended up under Microsoft now. Yeah, Spyro came closer to killing WoW than any MMO did. And it's not even a joke. Okay. So before we get started proper, I do have a question for you. And I want to see at least some of you guess this, like, right now. Oh yeah, 8 days. Sorry, yes, sorry. The thing that started all of this was I was looking up timelines. Because I was curious of something. So, this game... this game came out 8 days under 1 year after the previous game came out. I wasn't able to find hard data, but near as I can tell, they could not have had, at the absolute most, more than 10 months of development time. Yeah, I would estimate 9 months is probably more reasonable for how much time they actually had to work on it. Now, that sounds awful. Remember, this is 2006. Excuse me, no, this is now 2007. And you can make games in 9 months in 2007. But, I mean... And yeah, this is a PS2 game still, by the way. PS3 is already out, has been out now. But you can make, you have to print, and you have to burn, and you have to ship, and there's all kinds of stuff. So yeah. By the way, this actually is worse than it sounds. So how many of you know what a SKU is? Just really, really quick. SKU, exactly. It stands for stock keeping unit, which isn't as descriptive as it should be. What it effectively means in game development, I don't actually know what it means in other industries, but when a game developer refers to a SKU, they're referring to a different version of the game. If you want to release your game on the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the GameCube or whatever, you have 3 SKUs, right? Because each of those requires different rendering methods, different software under the hood, it requires different printing, it is a different SKU. Now, any different SKUs, even from relatively similar consoles, it requires a little bit of extra work and time and all that fun stuff. But then there's some different SKUs which are, shall we say, noticeably worse. Actually, near as I can tell, that's not true, Mr. Red. I did a little double checking, and I'll come back to that. I thought I talked about them. You're right, I didn't. I'll talk about it. Anyways, it was always supposed to be a trilogy. Moving on. So, so this game came out on multiple SKUs. PlayStation 2. Okay, yep, that's the one we're playing. Game Boy Advance. The DS. And the Wii. Now, I need to mention that unlike in some cases where like it later gets ported to different versions, these all came out at the same time, which meant 4 different SKUs, 4 very violently different SKUs. DS, GBA, PS2, and Wii. All of those are reasonably different. 2 of them are psychotically different. And all of that was pushed out in 9 months. So, near as I can tell, there's a little bit of cross-pollination there because a group called Amaze Entertainment, excuse me, was working on the other thing, but they also subdivision. I didn't write down the name of the company because it didn't matter, but they farmed out some of the work. So, in case you missed that, Vivendi farmed out the work to a company who farmed out the work to another company to help work on the GBA version. So, anyways. Oh, and they're so bad, Mr. Red. How much did this game lose? Well, but hang on. Mr. Red's right. I forgot to mention one other thing. So I mentioned this is always supposed to be a trilogy. Yesterday, I asked the question, several people actually asked the question, how does this get two sequels? I also mentioned how some of WoW's proceeds went to paying off this game. I even mentioned a little story, and it was just it was just a factoid about how the film industry works, about how a lot of actors will just get paid in debt, an IOU of some form or another, to eventually be paid. I then mentioned how most games don't go through that because they don't, like, it doesn't work that way. So it turns out that Elijah Wood, Gary Oldman, were both paid in IOU's debt, and as a consequence, as part of that, they were in fact contracted right at the beginning to do 3 games. This was in fact always intended to be a trilogy. It is in fact the biggest reason why they had to push out the full trilogy. It's also why they're the 2 voice actors who never change, even though every other voice actor changes every single game. That's not true. I shouldn't say every other. Every other major actor changes every game. But they held on to the people who they were contracted to because, well, you know. Yeah, so Spade's gone. They've replaced him with someone who can act. Oh my god, this game is I haven't even started playing it, it's killing me. So now that I've covered all of that, I've got a question for you. Yes, Omega Legion. What's funny is Guild Wars 2 has also had the exact same thing happen to it. I mean, David Spade is in one of those weird spots because comedians tend to charge a lot for their voice work. I don't know why. I really don't. It is a common thing. One of, like, the only exceptions to that ever was Robin Williams. And frankly, I think that's more on Robin Williams being a legit human being than anything else. Most comedians are expensive. It's one of the reasons why, if you ever see a film or a show or a game, loudly tout, hey, and we've got the voice of insert comedian, it's because they want to get their money's worth. So they use that as a selling point, right? Yeah, most comedians are also funny. That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. Because, yeah, David Spade is... Anyways. Excuse me. Legend of Spyro, A New Beginning, got a negative 444.76. So I want you, in your mind right now, to think, is it going to go up or down? Because realistically, there are only 2 options. 9 months development time, partially farmed out, living with almost no budget, not being able to work with your actors, excuse me, your principal actors. You remember I mentioned that interview where he talks about lockdown actors? Did I mention that he actually goes in detail on how much they actually worked with and with Kevin. I didn't write it down. I can't remember. It's Kevin Michael Richardson or Kevin Richardson Michael or something like that. But he's a great guy. They worked with him. They worked with the other guy. I'm not going to spoil the other guy, but you'll see in a minute. Actually interacted with some of the other actors in the project. So yeah, is it going to go up? Or is it going to go down? I am a little scared. I'm not going to lie. This is interesting. There we go. Come on, Kane. Oh, you missed it, Pajamita. You missed the whole speech. Sierra, which at this point in time technically doesn't exist, but you know how those things go. I feel bad for Chrome. Sometime you'll hear me say that sentence. Oh my god, it's so bad! Instantly! Oh god, there's a thunderstorm in the distance! This is what I think of when I think of Spyro. Listen to this music for a second. Hang on. Hang on. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. We're doing this. We're doing this now. I want you to see something. Yeah, the grim, dark adventures of Spyro the Purple Dragon. Hold up, hold up. Okay, so... listen to this. And actually, take in that shot. That is such a cheap-ass, blurry JPEG. This, looking at this image is what Ben One Eye feels all the time. I want you to feel that. I want you to feel that sympathy. Oh god, yeah, the title font is just, oh my god. Okay, 1 second, hang on. I've got to do this. This I gotta find the song. Okay, so I found the song. Okay. Oh, do I not have it? Oh no, no. This is happening. This is happening. Oh my god, Ian McKellen as Spyro. Oh my god, I can picture it. I can picture it. Okay, hang on, hang on. So pretend for a moment that this is what the title screen looks like. Okay, just bear with me. Okay. That's not really the point I'm making, Traxie. Although, I would say this is a better title screen. It's at least not a blurry JPEG. Oh yeah, notice the Christian symbolism is still all over the place. By the way, I did a little digging into that. You're probably wondering, why is there Christian symbolism in a Spyro game? Oh, it's actually very obvious. You see, this is a Lord of the Rings clone. On the off chance you don't understand that, listen to this. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is extremely Catholic coded. Not a dig. Tolkien himself was very, devoutly Catholic, and that was just he wrote that into his work. So if we're gonna make a Lord of the Rings game, we gotta make it all Christian-y. Duh, that's what we do. It's how we do things. We make things Christian. Make them Christian. Sorry. So okay. So now that I've gotten exactly 2 seconds into the game, let's keep going. This is a great sign. This is already a fantastic sign. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be the greatest game we've ever played. Let's turn subtitles on so I can tell what the hell they're about to say. Music Plus. Yeah! Yeah, no. Okay, stylized intro. I'm actually with that. Still very brown. Definitely not Lord of the Rings coded. Oh my god.
My master returns.
We're too late.
Wow, I don't remember that happening. I remember that happening.
She is just like me.
We gotta get out of here. Now!
I can't leave her behind. I've got to save her.
What? Save the beast that's been trying to kill us?
Yeah, that wasn't her fault. She was being used by the Dark Master. Now we can go.
Spyro! Hey, Spyro. Some night, huh? Beautiful.
What is it you want, Sparks?
Huh. Why do I have to want something? I'm just ready to begin the best day ever now that the evil psycho she-dragon is gone.
What? Cinder? What do you mean, Sparks?
Whoa, calm down, big fella. Gosh, you're awfully tense. Haven't been sleeping much? You should listen to Voltaire tell one of his stories. That'll put anyone to sleep.
Sparks, what happened?
Okay, you ready? I got up to get some fresh air.
Real quick. If that voice sounds familiar, if you can't quite place it, let me help you out a bit. In fact, here let's just leave that up for a second.
I don't sleep much myself these days with the female fright hanging about. Lo and behold, there she was, sneaking out into the garden. She gives me the creeps, dude. Hear my teeth?
Come on, we have to find her. It's dangerous for her to be outside the temple at night.
It's dangerous for any of us to be outside at night. Besides, Ignitus said you have to wait till your powers return. 'Cause you're weak.
No time to argue, come on.
You'd be helpless without me. I better come with you.
So, yeah. Last night, Mr. Ed forced me, kicking and screaming, to watch some short videos leading into this. And I would know Billy West anywhere. He's actually got really good range. For example, he also voices Zoidberg. Just to put that into perspective. But no, I would recognize Billy West anywhere. He is an extremely good, extremely... You didn't know he voices Zoidberg? No, he's got range, boy. He can do some stuff with his voice. I would recognize Billy West anywhere. And near as I can tell, Billy West obviously put some effort into this because he's a goddamn professional. But while he at least sounds like he is a character now, whereas David Spade sounded like a dude who was giving a haircut while drunk, I have to point out that even here you can just feel the lack of direction. You can just tell there's just this issue. Yeah, this is not Billy West at his finest. You know, this is not. This is him doing what he can with what he has. You want to hear something doubly weird? Billy West is in his 70s. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm actually double checking something really quick. Yeah, Matt Groening. Groening? I never remember how to pronounce it. He likes to do that with a lot of his actors. Okay, hang on. So... Double checking. Yeah, that's what I thought. So what's kind of strange here... No, Graining? Okay. Most of the time... So, okay. As part of my usual doing my due diligence thing, I actually found an interview where Billy West was talking about his roles, specifically on Futurama. And one of the things he mentioned, very much as a complete aside, is that he really enjoys seeing the animatics while he's doing the lines. Real quick, for those of you not aware, most animation isn't done, like, wholesale, if that makes any sense. And so a lot of the timing and a lot of the sound effects and a lot of the storyboarding is done with really basic sketches, right? So you'll see a sketch of someone and be like, huh? And then a sketch of someone like doing this, and then a sketch of someone like doing this. And then they'll like string those together in a way that makes sense time-wise. So you get, huh? And then they'll have the voice actor actually stare at that while they're doing the voice acting. That way, you don't have to wait until all of the animation is done to the voice acting, or to do the voice acting alongside the animation, both of which are hilariously inefficient ways to do things from a production perspective. Yeah, similar thing, Easel Games. So he likes being able to see that and being able to see his characters and work with it. And one of the things he liked doing was he'd have a little picture, like a fully drawn, like a fully fleshed out picture of whichever character he was voicing, to just kind of zone him in on that character. Near as I can tell, he didn't have any of that. He didn't have the animatics, he didn't have the picture, he had nothing. He was just handed some lines and told, go for Sparks. So I don't want to speak ill of Mr. West here, but this might be the worst performance I've ever heard him give, and that's probably not really his fault. Anyways. So let's start jotting down some negatives early, while we're here. Now, this time, now that I've done my due diligence, I can prove there's no voice direction, so I'm just going to immediately give those triple negatives and move on. And we'll see what we think of the rest of it. No, I completely missed it, J. Palmer. Do you mind repeating, please? Jesus Christ, Omega Legion. Yeah. Seizures suck. No, but the audio's still popping. Third game, by the way, is done by a completely different studio. Amusingly, the third studio thing was the first reason why I started looking into this. That, if they do that, that will kill WoW on the spot. There is a enormous percentage of millions of players who will drop WoW on the spot if they do that. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying that'll kill WoW right there. That's how you kill WoW. You force it onto the Game Pass. Would I? No, I would drop the game immediately. I'm good. I've had 20 years of WoW. I've done full streams of WoW twice. I'm good. There we go. Yep, look, Mr. Red, look! Look at the mushrooms! You have collected an ancient enchanted scriber's quill. Collect more to unlock new pictures in the art gallery. Yeah, Guild Wars 2 is still going. FF14 is gonna die soon. I mean, maybe it's a good thing. FF14 is about to be killed by Singapore. WoW is about to be killed by United States. Cool. Maybe something else will jump in. Yeah, STO... I really don't like saying I told you so. Some people derive an enjoyment from I told you so. I'm always sad. No, I'm serious. Saying I told you so means the bad thing happened. That's a bad thing. I am not happy that STO is actually circling the drain even harder than it was. I don't want to go into it. It's a whole off-topic thing. All I'm going to say is, for those of you familiar with what's happening to STO right now, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they are doing some strange company-destroying things right now. It is very weird. Are you not aware, Linerith? Do you not know? This is a real question, because I know you've had a lot on your mind lately, and I don't blame you for that. I'm getting there. Last night was probably the first night I would say I didn't have a bad night of sleep. Notice I didn't say I had a good night's sleep. But because of my nose being clogged, and because of how dry I've been, it's been painful to breathe. Which means I've been woken up roughly once an hour, every time I went to sleep for the last several days. So I have not been getting sleep, put very simply. It's one of the reasons why I've been doing one-shift days for several days in a row, because I don't have the energy. But so last night I actually fell asleep for several hours. It was strange. Anyways, I do have a dehumidifier. I don't think I'd be able to function without a humidifier. Holy crap. So anywho, so there's this company, and if I told you the name of the company, you would think I'm making it up. It is such a generic name of a company, I have to go look it up. Hang on a second, because it's the most generic company name in the universe. Hang on. No, hang on. You're gonna laugh when I pull it up. You're gonna laugh. 3D Investment Partners. The name of the company is 3D Investment Partners. That's a real thing. I have to double check every now and again. But yeah, they're the company that's buying up Square. That's what I was just talking about, Ethan. Pay attention now. But yeah, they're the reason. They are currently engaging in a hostile takeover of Square, and they have been for months. Honestly, about half a year at this point. Every single one of them, they have been very public about how they want to focus on shareholder value and restructure, because it is hostile. Like that's not my words. That's just a definition of a certain type of a takeover. If Square Enix starts openly divesting, if the majority shareholders in Square who own the stock of their own company start divesting stock, that's just them selling off the company. If another company starts actively trying to purchase shares at a higher price than their actual premium from everyone who isn't that group in order to try and pull apart the ownership of the company away from the company, that is a hostile takeover by definition. There's actually more to it than that, but that's the big thing. And so they're like, yum, yum. And they've been doing this for better part of half a year now, and they're actively trying to take over Square. They've been very open about this. There's no shame here. They think it's a good thing because they want to refocus Square as to fixating more on its shareholders. You ever wonder if you're just in Bizarro World? You ever have one of those moments? You ever have one of those things where you just sit back and you think, what? It's like, I'm sorry, it's like someone walks up to me and says, okay, Laura, I've got this great idea. I'm going to go and I'm going to start shooting every third person I see on the street. And everything about their tone and their posture and their demeanor indicates that they think this is a good thing. And they want to be praised for doing that. And I'm just like, what? Anyways, this has been having a fairly substantial effect on a lot of things that have been happening at Square. This is why the FF11 run has been shoved forward so much. God damn it, get out of my eye. Ben One Eye, get out of my eye. Is because I am legitimately afraid that they will pull the plug on a game that is making money. You know, it's paying for itself. FF11 is solvent. It actually pays for its own servers and its own very small maintenance team. But that's not what a holding company wants, is it? They don't want to make money. They don't want a project that is sitting there generating green revenue. And I don't even want to know what they're going to do to FF14. Well, if Square manages to fight off the takeover, then that's awesome. Square, forgive me for phrasing this weirdly, but Square may be a bunch of boneheaded, mentally deficient morons, but at least they're our mentally deficient morons, right? At least that's someone who's at least kind of in our camp. I will take Square over 3D Investment Partners. You know? I'll take that. God. This is really getting irritating. Oh, God, don't even get me started. I'm sorry, I really have something stuck in my eye. It's not even a euphemism. I just have something stuck in my eye. Damn it, Ben One Eye. Anyways, point being, don't you love this music? Dude, Vivendi are terrible. There is actually music. Why is Game Pass bad? That's a very off-topic thing. Creative Business Unit 3. Anyways, sorry, getting back to the point. Let's destroy the very existence of the stock market. The end.
Quiet. We mustn't wake them.
What? I can't hear you over all this snoring.
Oh, dude, do not look into the Guillaume family if you don't want to hear about old families. Or old money families, because they're pretty bad. Okay, so hang on. I need to test something. Okay, we do have skippable cutscenes. What, them trying to take over Capcom, Trihexia? We'll see. Capcom's kind of on my short crap list right now anyways, for unrelated reasons, so...
What was that?
Good to know the controls haven't gotten any better. Good to know the combat is almost identical. So there are ways is the really short answer to that, Omega Legion. I agree, Plutonic. I don't think the PIF is trying to do anything with Capcom in particular. I think the PIF is just buying up stock wherever they can because they want money! Money! Is this just awkwardly quiet for anybody else? Like, awkwardly quiet. Dude, Embracer can go suck a lemon. There we go. The timing on that is very strange.
Cinder, what are you doing out here? It's dangerous.
You shouldn't have followed me, Spyro.
That's good enough for me. Let's go. See ya.
Please, don't make this harder for me than it already is.
I'm just trying to understand.
I'm leaving, Spyro. I don't belong here. After all I've done, all I've put you through, I can't stay.
Cinder, nobody blames you for what happened.
Huh, I do. Speak for yourself.
Sparks.
No, Sparks is right. And every day that goes by, I'm reminded of it. Spyro, your place is here. Your destiny is here. But mine is somewhere out there for me to find.
Cinder, I don't want you to go.
Goodbye, Spyro.
So that was 9 lines. She has almost surpassed the amount of lines she had in the first game.
Can we finally get get some sleep around here? I've been only sort of half sleeping with one eye open for weeks now. Alternating eyes, of course. It lessens the strain, but I tell you, it's taken a toll. Hey, was this twitch always there? Spyro? You okay, buddy? Hey, I want to sleep too, but I didn't mean now. Let's at least get inside. It's dark out, man, and I don't like it. Hello? Anyone home? Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. Yeah, welcome to these games, by the way, Easel. Did you not watch the last game? Because holy God. Yeah, the lack of direction is becoming very apparent. Very quickly.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Do not be frightened, young dragon. You are not alone.
Who are you? What is this place?
I have summoned you here so that you might be warned. The celestial moons are counting down, and time is running out.
Make it stop!
Hold on. Okay, I'm almost positive that's Martin Jarvis. Jarvis, excuse me, Jarvis. Who he does a bunch of stuff. Let's just summarize that. But doing his absolute best to sound like Ian McKellen. That's the sad thing. Like, I bet you money, if there was any direction at all, it was that he received another paper that said, sound like Gandalf. Okay. People who really wish they were making another video game. I feel bad for these people. I often feel bad for the devs. It's weird. I never sympathize with like the executives or the people in charge, but I always feel bad for the worker class down at the ground floor. I can't imagine why. Anyways. So I was asked if I could change the audio. So the sound effects are already cranked. And music is... I mean, it's there. It's at half. That's it. That's our audio. We can enable autosave. Listen, it's a Spyro game now because we can get 5 yellows, 5 greens, and 40 feathers. Check it out. So what that means, Mr. Red, it depends, is the short answer. But in this case, near as I can tell, what it means is, okay, so you kind of work on the cheap, pay out of pocket, or take a loan, or whatever. And then once the game sells, a decent number of those proceeds from the game selling then go to paying off the debt you have accumulated simply from operating, right? It's worth noting, that is a terrible idea that no game company should ever take for extremely obvious reasons. Favorite example of a game that wants to be a different game? Like a good example of that? That's hysterical, Omega Legion. I wouldn't either, Ben One Eye. Music license labels have had their tentacles in that entire industry for longer than any of us have been alive. You know what? Yeah, Jack 2 is actually a pretty good example from what I understand. I haven't played it, but I have watched speedruns of it many times. Um, hmm. I don't know. I'll have to chew on that. Let me do something really quick here. Sorry. I'm getting so wrapped up in this amazing, epic, engaging, thrilling, fantastic. Hang on a second. Let me come up with more adjectives here. Here we go. So like this unusual, big, thin, round, youthful, pink, Dutch, metallic, four-sided cleaning game. Oh my god, the silence is deafening. Here. Why Dutch? I don't know. Don't look at me. Think I decide this stuff? I need a little more. It's all a mess. Okay. Yeah, this blur is great. Have you already noticed that we're having some graphics bugs? So I'm going to try to do something with the emulator to smooth this over, because that is pretty much immediately eye cancer. So give me a moment here, please. I'm going to go ahead and set this to here. That did nothing. Okay, cool. Let's try this. Hey, there we go. That should make it slightly less painful to look at. Slightly. God. I get that you're going for a dream sequence, but could you not drop a giant glob of Vaseline on the camera, please? No, Easel. Is it that? Oh, no, yes, I actually did. I did, yeah. Sorry. Just realized what you were talking about. It looks like it is, Giga. And, you know, I've said something a lot. I did actually see that on Mega Legion. So there's this concept called good music is a good thing, you freaking morons. That's a bit of a mouthful. So it's something that a lot of game developers do not understand. And, well, I'm sorry, some game developers don't understand. A lot of game developers do. They understand that places that aren't really all that epic or cool or interesting can be made that by giving you something awesome to listen to. Just to use a random, right off the top of my head example, let's say we're here, right? We're in this deep, dark realm. What if instead of this ambient hum, we had something like this? It is not my fault that this song rocks, Omega Legion, okay? But you know what, you're right. What if we want something more gloomy? Something more doomy? So, something, let's try this. If this is like a little bit too mystical, you want something more overtly horrifying, how about we get some Yoko Shimomura in here? No, that's exactly the point I was making, Chill Pangolin. Someone said it in chat. Forgive me, I didn't catch who said it. I read the text more than I read the names. I apologize. It's just, it helps me to keep up quicker. Anyways, someone in chat said, good music helps because it allows the player to infer. So just like, good music in a game is supposed to add to the tone, to the scene, and to what the player is literally feeling as they're playing the game. This is why music is such an important element of things, even games that otherwise don't seem to have much of a narrative strength, like, say, a Mega Man game. You know you're there in Wave Man stage because Wave Man's music is playing. You know you're in the final dungeon in Wily's Castle because there's this banger soundtrack going, right? You know that you're in the safe spot in Resident... Oh my god. Oh my god. What the crap? Oh my god. Is this supposed to be like this? Mr. Red, is this supposed to be like this? This is awful. Oh, this is terrible. I was just making sure it's not an emulation issue. Remember we had that issue with Ratchet and Clank.
How did that happen?
The purple dragon can wield many abilities that others cannot, including time itself. Learn to master this ability, and you will be able to see things almost before they happen. But use this gift sparingly, only when circumstances demand. Manipulation of time is not to be done without the uttermost care.
Isn't Spyro like 15? Oh! Oh! Never mind, the in-game music finally decided to exist. So, just to finish making my point, and I swear I'll let this go. While I would personally argue that Koji Kondo is simply not a composer at the level of some of the true greats of video game composition, something I will always give him a tremendous amount of credit for is understanding how to set the scene with a song. He is so good at that. He is consistently good at that. Even nowadays, when he primarily works as a director and producer, guess what he primarily works with? And, yes, I am kind of copy-pasting a few of my negatives here, Mr. Ed, but I make no apology for that. No apology, Elizar! None! The best part is it's similar to WoW music. I could pretty much just pick out any given song, any temple song from Ocarina, and just be like, hang on. Hey guys, what's this? Just immediate, right? You know what it is immediately. But of course, more to the point, even if you didn't, there is still a vibe, a tone being presented here. Yeah, you can really dissect some things. Yeah, FF12... Some of FF12's music nails this, and then there's the rest of it. Like, I think Dalmasca, like the Rabanastra music specifically, and most of the Estersand and the Westersand stuff, yeah, absolutely. And then there's a couple of other individual songs that work, and then some songs are just there. No mistake, I like FF12. I love FF12, but... And of course, who would be remiss if I didn't mention... I'm pretty sure one random-ass dragon from Warcraft could kind of sweep this entire setting as a random side quest at level 15. Well, I'm afraid I hate you now, Kid Viper. Could you explain that, if you don't mind? Because, like, that's exactly why I'll never play the N64 version, either. Like, I'm never going back to the N64 Ocarina. That was just... Double-checking some things. Hang on, wait, I'm not ready! I'm not ready! I'm not ready, wait! Okay, I'm done taking my notes, sorry. I haven't just been faffing about. I mean, I'm faffing about a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I haven't just been faffing about. I've been, getting some notes down. God, are these offset? Oh my god.
Let's do it.
I'd say yeah, those are. Listen, Omega Legion. Listen. We need to go back to our roots, okay? We need to only emphasize the original. It's actually a really common thing in Japanese work ethics. I need to prove that I can do this without the time slow. I need to do this. This is for me. This is for me.
Here we go.
There. Proved it. Moving on. Double jump? Hello?
Let's keep trying.
Yeah, by the way, this is, this is bad. So yeah, the double jump is really strange. I've actually encountered this before. Not often, because it's really bad design. So here's how double jump is generally supposed to work. You jump, and then you jump a second time. You'll notice you did not picture me jumping a second time. That's because you can only double jump immediately. You have to do the double jump immediately. I should mention the first game didn't do that. So that's actually something that's gotten worse than the first game. So that's cool. No reason that I can think of, Tomb Raider. I guess it didn't occur to me for it to be relevant. Oh, so you just don't like the game, Kid Viper. That's fine. Woof, okay. See, what I misread your statement as was that you preferred the N64 version, which I was just going to be like... Here, just for you right now, Tomb Raider, I'm going to hit the stream breaks, because there's nothing I love doing more than not playing Spyro. Hey, Norda May. Where's Majora? There it is. There. Now it says 3D. Yeah, listen, he's the chosen one. He's going to bring balance to the Force. I mean, one of the weird things is getting a hold of a copy of Sonic 06 to play is kind of a weird problem. Piles of Sonic 06. Add another to the pile. No, it's a valid complaint, Doom. I don't think it ever even occurred to me to, because I would never touch the N64 versions of those games, and I never will. A review of those would be microscopically different, honestly. And obviously worse. So, yeah. Let me start giving the negatives. I like giving negatives. Negatives give me... Oh. See, Sonic 06 is longer, Omega Legion. So, Sonic 06 might edge it out. Because it's got more meat on its bones. And all of that meat is rotten. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, the PS2 has one of the biggest libraries to date, I think, doesn't it? Like, I know it's behind the DS, But still, like, of course it's gonna have a lot of schlock. I only remember Shadow doing one thing in Sonic 06. You probably even know the thing. Yeah.
You seem to have abandoned your true calling. It is your destiny to harness the powers of the elements. Yet, you possess not.
I haven't been able to use my abilities for some time now.
Yes. Right now, your powers lay dormant within you. Let's see if we might not awaken them.
We must awaken the dragon within.
Clear your mind, Spyro, and feel the fire that flows through your veins. Allow its heat to consume you, and breathe with it. Now, rise up and release the firestorm within you. Excellent, Spyro. You're a natural. But now that a primal fire rages inside you, show me you have command of it.
You've reawakened the fire element. Follow the floating platforms to test your new abilities. Are we... Okay. Okay, we don't stay on fire forever. Good to know, good to know. Oh god, this is it. We're in the Sloth Demon's domain. Cinder Chain, the Disinterred. That sounds about where I'm at with this game. Disinterested. That was a terrible joke. I apologize. I will replace it with a better joke. Make it up to you. What's the difference between ignorance and apathy?
Ready?
I don't know and I don't care. Yeah, at least the checkpoints are back. Thank God. Yeah, remind me to die periodically, just to be sure. The things you say in video gaming. Wait, what about Smaug? Ah! Elizar, why did you kill me? Why?
All right.
Oh, that's interesting. Honestly, Smaug would probably just be another boss for Spyro. You know, on the one hand, I'm happy to have platforming, but on the other hand, can I have it in a game that's not already a triple negative for controls? Dude, if this is an actual Spyro game, Spyro would reach up to Primordius and be like, hey, dude. So, I got you what you wanted. Primordius would be like, oh, thank you. I don't actually have sentience, technically, so I can't say thank you. And then Spyro would just summon this giant thing of ice cream and shove it down Primordius' mouth, and Primordius would go into a food coma. But he looked cool, Omega Legion. Why would Mario ever fight Spyro? Why would Spyro ever... Are you making Spyro evil, Elizar? I don't know the name Kid Viper, but maybe. Have they done anything not for an anime? Yeah, apparently Elizar is making Mario the evil one. What is wrong with you, Elizar? Do you have issues? Are you against Italians? Is that what this is? Haven't the Italian people suffered enough? I mean, they're already voiced by Chris Pratt. And I'm gonna keep doing the Giga. You can't stop me. And it does like 5 damage, just like it did in the first game. What do you want to bet? I'm going to use it on a boss at some point, just to see. Yes, that got its own negative, before you ask. Okay. 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 Stop. 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 We need to talk about platforming design for a second. I'm going to go show something off, okay? Hang on. Give me a second. Give me a second. I gotta show something off. So forgive me for flexing my big, tiny, smooth brain. But there's this thing called platforming. Now, you've probably never heard of it. So you see how I barely made that jump? And now I can't make that jump. Why can I not make that jump? Well, that's because that jump was designed to be only makeable with the double jump.
Let's do it.
Oh, okay, yep, okay, so we're going to pretend we didn't do that. The reason I bring that up, though, is, yeah, this isn't platforming, and it mandates the double jump almost every jump. In fact, 2/3 of the jumps here require double jump. These are basic moving platforms. Why does the double jump exist at that point? Now, I know I'm getting a little bit into esoterics of gaming design and philosophy, but the point here is the very existence of a double jump is to give the player additional control over their interactable terrain while midair. That's what that means. So this is easier to showcase in a 2D space, so I'm going to do that, but this still applies in a 3D space. So picture this square here, okay? And you are this adorable shark. Okay. Hey. So, you have the ability to jump. Boop. Now, what this means is if you were to now look at this entire screen and paint it, let's assume it's just a flat platform for now. Your total accessible area is basically going to be up to the maximum of your jump height, and then everything from there down, because you can just jump here, right? You with me? Now, if you up that to have a double jump, that includes most of the entire reach, right? That includes most of the area. So now you've painted most of the screen. The player now has access to be able to hit pretty much any part of the screen thanks to the double jump, right? You with me? But the point of a double jump isn't to increase their reach. It isn't just to increase their reach, but to increase their control. A double jump means you're jumping here and you slip off of a platform, and you can be rewarded for having enough reflexes to then double jump back onto the platform you just left. Or to correct the fall you're doing in order to get to the next platform. Or to be able to pull off, interesting or cool maneuvers. Like, for example, a lot of platformers will do a thing where you're up here and you actually want to be down here. So you fall down the lip, do the double jump, and then land over here. Stuff like this, right? This is the point and purpose of something like a double jump. So, yeah, no, exactly, Cat Viper. I've talked about commitment jumps and commitment platformers over in, like, Castlevania. If there's going to be a double jump, you've given the player tons of choice, tons of options, and tons of reach for what they can get to and how. Now, obviously the previous game did have a double jump, and it was completely pointless there too, but there was also no platforming to speak of in the previous game. Like, really, you'll notice I barely talked about anything approaching level design in the previous game that wasn't enemy design, because every level was just a series of freaking arenas that you would fight enemies in over and over and over, and that was kind of it. That was your level design. But now that we have platforming, all of a sudden, this whole new avenue of negatives has been opened up to me. Because this is stupid. The only way this would work, and this could work, it's worth noting, is if this was a tutorial. It's not. I love this, by the way. I try to adjust my camera up, and it immediately shoves it right back down. Hate that. But if this was the... If we didn't even know about the double jump until this sequence right here, this would actually be a good tutorial. And I've already showcased why. Let me go back down here. Let me show this off. You'd get a pop-up right here saying you can hit jump again in order to double jump. And then, on the off chance you refuse to do it, these jumps get progressively harder until you can't anymore. Until you actually have to do a double jump in order to be able to accomplish it, right? They didn't do that. It's dumb. And I just wanted to point that out. So, yeah, I was going to talk about the brickwork. This is not terrible. I don't want to overpraise. It's still a PS2 game. But this is better than anything in the entire previous game.
You have done well. And now, it is time for you to return. But be careful, Spyro. The enemy approaches.
Wait, you still haven't told me who you are.
You shall know me as the Chronicler. Seek me out.
Yeah, by the way, we're fighting the adversary. I know that's kind of a generic term from a lot of games, but for those who are not aware, that is one of the most common words they use to describe Sauron and his forces back in, Lord of the Rings. Anyways.
Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Anyone home? Hello? Hello?
And yes, it's back, Blue Dragon EXE.
Something is happening, Sparks. I can't explain it.
No kidding. While you were catatonic, this whole place has been hooting and howling. Listen.
What is that?
Well, Sparks is dead. Okay.
What's happening? The temple is under attack. The others are still sleeping. We need to get back.
Are you crazy? Do you want to run towards the danger?
We're going to have to find another way in. Come on.
Ugh, I liked you better when you were sleeping.
You know something that would immediately make this game better and cheaper and easier to make? Have Sparks die in the first 5 minutes of the game. Just die. And stay dead.
Hey, ugly head guy. Now that we've exchanged pleasantries, can we fight? Or at least you two can fight, now watch.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, in the tutorial, the flamethrower was actually kind of decent. And I thought, oh, maybe they've upped the quality of the kit. But now that I'm using it in action, it is the exact same flamethrower it was in the first game. Which, if you remember, I gave a -4. Well, not only that, think about all the time saved on storyboarding, animating, cutting in the voice lines. It's just cheaper all the way. Did you ever play the second game, Rama? Ice was the worst, yeah. Flame wasn't good, but ice was the worst. I see our flashbang problem hasn't gotten better either. Who, Mr. Red? Yeah, last game we had the Earth Breath.
Hey, look at this.
Yep, this is riveting. I'm going to go back to talk about economics. I can do that. So you see, some people were like, man, economics are great. But if only there was a way I could squeeze a little bit of extra money by coming up with some kind of, like, scam. And therefore I could make the entire world a worse place just so I could make my own life slightly better. Wait, what do you mean it doesn't actually make my life better and it actually makes it worse? Look, I don't understand consequences, okay? I'm an economist. Could you stop being on fire, please? Hang on. What is that? God dang it. My eyes do not like me today. Come on, work with me, work with me. Oh man, I love more combat. More combat! Dun 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 dun. How much time do I give FF14 before it dies? Or before it becomes much, much worse? So before it becomes worse. Yeah, I would say... Yeah, 3 years on the outside sounds about right. Yeah, no, like I said, that's kind of where I'm at, Giga. Like, it sucks. I don't want FF14 to die anymore. I want WoW to die, but we've had some good years. It's hard to be, like... I don't know. Maudlin about that? Actually, no, I completely forgot about the slow-mo thing. Thank you, Mr. Road. Okay. That is a good question, Linearith. I wasn't sure we were going to get all of midnight. I'm still not sure we're going to get all of midnight. So it's actually the opposite. Holding it down is what didn't work. I gotta tap it. Yeah, that's what was screwing me over. Our run still sucks. Good to know.
Oh, didn't see that coming.
Dying in MMO's case is actually really easy to define because we have so many examples of it. An MMO dying means the plug has been pulled. Asheron's Call died. That's it. Boom. It's gone. It's done. That's why I think it's much less likely that FF14 will die, and far more likely that it'll just become, you know, a cash grab, gutted garbage game, like STO or Tor. So, you know, it'll become garbage. What do I think about the Stop Killing Games movement? You know, every time I get asked that question, I'm a little confused. And I don't mean this as a negative thing, but it's like being asked, hey, Lore, what do you think of the Stop Drowning Puppies movement? And, like, there's sort of an implication inherent in that question. Like, do you think I'm in favor of drowning puppies? Do you think I want puppies to be held under the water and flail helplessly looking up at you with their cute, adorable eyes? They don't understand. They just want to give you hugs and lick your face, and you're drowning them. Why are you drowning them? Fuck Pirate Software. What the hell? He was like fully stuck out of the thing. Did you see that? He's still... What the hell? What is this? What? Oh my god, look at all the spider blood. Look at the spider blood. Oh my god. Oh yeah, speaking of which, let's level. So, hey, look, we're going to have a fire breath, an electric breath, an ice breath, and an earth breath. Earth breath? We're going to have an earth breath. Yes, Mad Overlord. Why do I have a level cap? The problem is, I have already put together my own very tiny, not very well researched proposal on how you could actually keep live service and MMO games live after, after they no longer make money, and do it in a way that's reasonable, isn't particularly unexpected, and doesn't really cost anybody much of anything, with one notable exception, and that is there would have to be a volunteer group, probably at a governmental archive, probably run by the EU, and they would have to do some work. It wouldn't be very expensive, though. Honestly, paying the government officials at the game archive would be the biggest expense involved there.
How's that?
What I'm trying to say, though, you know how some problems in real life don't really have solutions? Because there's, like, practical considerations, or there's logistical issues, or whatever, right? Well, some things have solutions, and we have the solutions now to keep every MMO that's ever existed live and operable and playable worldwide. Now, that's doable. That's not even hard. That is the kind of thing that we had solved 10 years ago. So it's a solved issue. Nobody cares, because there's no money in it, but, you know. Yeah, AWS, which... When did AWS really get going? Is kind of already there. Is most of that infrastructure already exists. Yeah, no kidding, Omega Legion. So what'd you think of the game, Ross? Wait, which version did you play? I mean, there are several MMOs that actually... Excuse me, let me walk that sentence back. There's several MMO dev teams that tried exactly that solution, Moog, and were shot down by their publisher. So instead of some games and MMOs being able to still exist now in some kind of format, they don't because the publisher said no. And honestly, if that's not the definition of just petty, I don't know what is.
Yikes!
And we're dead.
I'll just stick here.
Okay, so I'm not conveying this properly, I don't think, but this combat is actually worse. So you remember how we have this gigantic wind-down animation every time we're hit by anything? Well, combine that with worse controls, enemies that have actual attacks, which is nice, and hit too hard. And remember, we have no method that I'm aware of to improve our survivability.
Oh, these guys look angry.
Oh yeah, by the way, the checkpoints are worse too. So I had a thought in mid-sentence, if it wasn't obvious. What do you want to bet? This is what they want us to do for the entire game. I remind you, this is functionally the beginning of the game. We're still in the intro. What do you want to bet? That's what they want us to do for every frickin' combat. You notice how quickly that time thing refills, right? It's already refilled. We can already use it again. Yeah, graphics are worse. Well, controls are worse, excuse me. Combat's worse. Platforming is worse. There's some actual enemy variety. Music's worse, and that's impressive. I was not impressed with the music of the last game. But, like, it was there, right? It was something. Yeah, so far. Fair. Fair.
All right, let's do it.
They really want us to play the Matrix, don't they? Look at this. They want us to play the Matrix. That's what they want. That's how they want this to go. By the way, no spoilers, but I just started Zulamon last night, excuse me. And, best zone so far. Haven't even finished it. Already calling it. Best zone. Also gives me a chance to practice my troll voice, which I'm actually very proud of. And I don't get to practice enough. Alonza's foul, if that helps, Omega Legion. Yeah, Harandar is the worst zone so far. And that is a huge compliment. So Zulamon will be our third zone. Is our third zone. And then we've got to do the Silvermoon recap, and then we're going to go ahead and do the last zone. So, can I complain about something? It's a really minor thing, but it's already mattered. Because this game is made by people who've never heard of game design before. So, I want you to understand something. You're a programmer right now, okay? Congrats. You're making a video game, just like Mr. Red did. Woo. Just like Evo is doing right now. Okay, so, you have a mechanic where an enemy dies, and then once that enemy dies, it drops health ups, and then mana ups. Now, the important part is that's part of your loop. That's part of your core gameplay loop. You defeat an enemy to gain the resources to keep playing the game. You with me? Okay. At what exact moment do you spawn the resources out of the enemy corpse? If you answered after their death animation is finished, congratulations, you're a moron. It's even worse because I don't know if you've noticed, almost every enemy has a different death animation, which means the time to death, the time to spawning loot, is different based on the enemy. And some of them take several seconds to finish dying. I have actually already died and almost died several times waiting around for health items to pop out of an enemy while they were standing going, "Oh, woe is me. Oh, alas, poor York. I knew him, Horatio. It was a most infinite jest, a most excellent fancy. Where be your gibes now? Your what? And I'm dead." And then the stuff pops out. In a game where an enemy can kill you in 2 seconds, a 1 second delay counts. You know, Mr. Red. Why do you hate me? Like what did I do? I mean, I guess I did send Mr. Pink after you that one time. What did I do before that? Do I think the new and returning player experience is bad and well? Every time someone says that, I get weirded out. Because WoW has, without a doubt or hesitation, the best new player and returning player experience in the MMO space. Like, I don't understand the mentality that goes into people saying it's not good. I don't mean to sound dismissive or elitist or whatever. I don't get that. What could possibly be done to smooth that over more than it is already smoothed? It could be grifters. You know, that's valid. That's actually a very valid point. Ted Viper, you're a grifter! I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I should always remember... I have this really, really bad habit, and this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not, of assuming that when someone says something, they mean it. And I've always had that problem my whole life. I need to not have that bad habit. Why would any YouTube content creator actually do due diligence or research or, like, journalism, Lunareth? I mean, I can label a grifter pretty effortlessly because it is a very specific label, regardless of how it's used or misused. A grifter is someone who goes out of their way. Let's actually use the modern parlance because there's some permutations here. A grifter is someone who goes out of their way to deliberately report things that are either nothing burgers, misinformation, lack of information, with the sole intent to try and stir people up. Get people angry, get people mad. Usually mad at the grifter. And then profit, because people being mad at you means people are looking at you, they're talking to you, they're responding to you, they're leaving comments, they're sharing the video with their friends. Look at how stupid this idiot is. This guy said, well, I was dying. What a jackass. This guy said that, I don't know, I can't even come up with something off the top of my head. Something obviously and overtly wrong, specifically designed to engender an emotional response, because human beings have this weird quirk, this one weird quirk, where if you tell someone something wrong that they know is wrong, people will rush, just absolutely rush to correct you. It is a disgustingly common tactic. So, for example, if I say, I need to come up with something. If I say, one of my favorite actors in Star Trek is obviously Mark Leonard. He did a great job as playing Spock. And Spock has a wonderful gravitas to him. He portrays himself well. He gets along well with Kirk. You know, there's a great dynamic between him and Kirk. Him and McCoy and the trio have their own, like, triple dynamic, too. And so I just want to give tons of praise to Mark Leonard for having managed such a dynamic. Now, if I'm a grifter, I'm doing that on purpose. Because then people are going to jump on that and do everything in their power to correct me. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't sound like it's much of a grift. Yeah, that's big. Oh, by the way, on the off chance you didn't catch that, Mark Leonard did not play Spock. I deliberately chose something that's just easy enough to misunderstand, so it sounds like I just made a mistake, right? It's just an innocent mistake. I meant Leonard Nimoy, not Mark Leonard. Okay, that's easy, that's easy. But then I doubled down. I said, look, who are you going to believe? I've been doing this job for 10 years now. I've covered all of Star Trek at this point. I think I know who played Spock. So then more people start sharing, like, oh, look at this loser. Look at it, I can't believe this. And my video gets more and more views and more clicks and more spread. And there's a lot of specific tactics you can use here. This is all... I get tired. It's all old. It's all old. This is all stuff that goes back decades. I could say something deliberately inciting. You know, like, I think women should go back to the kitchen. And the important part is the first time you do the inciting incident, you have to do it in one of two ways. You have to either do it very casually, as if it's a normal statement, or you have to really overact it, right? Like Pronouns Guy is a good example of the overact thing. And just really lean into that, oh, women shouldn't be in government or military or, I don't know, gardens. And just lay that out there. And then let other people argue against you. And then let other people argue against them, because they're actually misogynistic jackasses, in the comments section. And let those two people kind of build your views and build your engagement for you. It's called engagement farming. It's very common. It's very normal. This is so normal that it goes back to printed press, as in just newspapers, right? This is a tactic. Then you double down again and say, I don't want to say, but I'm the only one willing to say that women shouldn't be in gardens. Okay, I'm just willing to say that. It's you know, I'm not bought out by big pharma. I don't have a political agenda here. I'm just saying what I truly believe is that gardens and women do not mix. And then I'll come up with like some pseudoscience bullcrap about it and blah, blah. And basically I just keep farming that until the numbers start to dip as people get tired of my nonsense. Come up with something new, rinse and repeat. What is with these spiders that are eating the monkeys, as near as I can tell? No, it's fine. That's true. I obviously don't think you ate me. I don't think there were 2 moons last game. I don't know where the second moon came from. Wait. That's no moon. Well, yeah, it is. Never mind. Carry on. Okay. What? What? Okay. I know you don't see my hands on the, you know, on the controls, obviously, but these are not the buttons I'm pressing, is how I'm going to describe this. Yeah, by the way, that flicker is great. It's awesome. I love getting flashbanged while I'm trying to do platforming. That sucks. This is great. This whole game is poetry in motion, really. Why would they, Lunarith? You keep using your brain, Lunarith. You need to stop that. Quit it. Stop thinking. God. There's your problem. I mean, yeah, Omega Legion. I would not want to be involved in that. Well, this is fair. Now we have to do the same thing while a guy is shooting at us from across the way. This is a wonderful thing that I now have to do. This is just my life. It sucks to be you. I'm actually good at platformers. You liking this music so far? Would you believe there is music playing? If I said that, would you believe me? What? What happened? What happened? Okay. Oh my god, what's with this pink freaking flashbanging? How is this getting worse? How is this getting worse? I have to admit, I suppose being overwhelmed is something I just don't understand, Kid Viper, and I apologize for that. I don't know how you could fix that. I guess I could turn off the thing that got rid of the blur earlier. Let's do that. Hang on. Let's this. And where's the other one? It's not there. Boom. How much worse can it get? Here, why don't we get some forest music going while I'm typing? Because I have to give this many negatives. I'm sorry it didn't help anyone. I know the feeling way too well. I mean, if there's one nice thing about FF14 and WoW being as big as they are, you know we're gonna get fan servers. If Earth and Beyond got fan servers, which you've never even heard of, WoW's gonna get... I mean, yeah, WoW already has fan servers, but you know FF14's gonna get fan servers. I meant more WoW's going to get fan servers that aren't desperately slocking on Classic's dick. I knew about the FF11 one. Star Wars Galaxies does too, yeah. I actually don't know if Tor has any fan servers. Does anyone mind looking that up while I type up 17 negatives for this game? I know EverQuest does, which is funny because EverQuest actually does have a really good classic setup. In addition to just, you know, still going. No, Tor's still going. Tor, so we were talking about whether an MMO will die or not. Tor is a, Sure, Linerith, this is easy. Imagine you have to go sign up for Microsoft's Game Pass to be able to access WoW. That's it. That's all. Now, look at the several million players. Think about how many of them would be willing to put up with that. And WoW's dead! Oh yeah, you also have to pay double the price, because you pay for Game Pass. And Game Pass is $30 a month. So yeah. Again. Bam! There you go. You did it. You killed WoW. Good job, Linerith. I am actually really impressed. Oh my god. Linerith killed WoW so that all the players would flock to Diablo Immortal and she would finally have the justification. I'm kidding. Oh, regularly. See, that's it. You want to play it regularly again. Admit it. SKUs. Wouldn't Tor be a better place to flock to if WoW died? I, I, what? I'm sorry, Damachi, you have to explain yourself, because it just sounded like you walked up to me and said, listen, I know you're dying of cancer, but have you tried kumquats? Oh, Jesus Christ, no. No. Oh, okay, I see what you mean, Kid Viper. Never mind. I thought... I was going to say, if WoW ever goes free to play, WoW has already died at that point. Like I said, kumquats, I'm with it. I mean, sure. I mean, like I said, if WoW goes free to play, fully free to play, it is already, as of that moment, dead. Not literally, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, I get what you mean. In other words, to put it in slightly different terminology, everything except for current content being part of the free trial. Frankly, I think that they should do that. I'm a little weirded out that they don't. WoW actually has a pretty solid and verbose... not verbose, wrong word. WoW has a solid demo, as is. Up to level 20 doesn't sound like much, but actually it's a pretty good chance to get a decent access to a lot of content. And much more importantly, it does exactly what a demo should do. If you fire up the WoW free demo right now and say, hey, let's just try it out. Try out the trial. What you'll get is you'll get the new starter zone, which just got an overhaul to be even better, which leads immediately into the Dragonflight. And then you get a decent chunk of Dragonflight to kind of see where the game's going and how modern WoW functions before you start running into level cap issues. You'll also have access to Dragonflying by that point. So you'll get access to talents, you'll get access to multiple classes and specs, you'll get access to the story, how the new interface system works, how a lot of the new template stuff works, and you'll get access to flying. It's a vertical slice of most of the game. Oh yeah, and by that point you'll have access to follower dungeons too. Yeah, exactly, Kid Viper. Don't mistake me. I agree with you completely. I think they should open that up way more. I think the free content should be everything up to previous content. Does FF11 have a trial? Oh, I know, Omega Legion. Remember, I had to do that to get ready for the FF11 run, and I don't want to be hyperbolic. It's trash. It's absolute garbage. It is a enormous barrier to entry. I almost decided to cancel the FF11 run just from the work it took in order to get the game playable. I can't believe it doesn't, honestly, Omega Legion. No, playable, Ben One Eye. Okay, sorry about all that. I'm trying to be much more thorough. God, what's with this freaking... Okay, it's worse. Oh, God, it's worse. Oh, God, it's so much worse. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, I can't even move. I can't even move. Hang on, land. What were they doing? Also, I love how that freaking spider that's, like, way over there is a sniper. Okay, so hold on, hold on. No, yeah, that was the whole point of that conversation. It is something that has been bandied about. Look at that! By idiots at Microsoft. I don't think they're going to do that, but that's why I say with absolute certainty, that would kill WoW. Just immediately. Okay, let's try... This is insane. Can I do this? Does that help? Nope. We might just have to live with this. Nothing I'm doing is fixing this. Yeah, no, okay, so everyone stop looking from the... Everyone stop looking at the game for a minute. I'll deal with the headache. Everyone stop looking for a minute. For real. Just stop watching the stream. This is the flashing lights warning. What are you talking about, Colgrim? What are you talking about? I'm not still stuck here. You're still stuck here. Oh my God, this is asinine. Oh my God, this is so stupid. These enemies are dumb. And this enemy placement is awful. And I'm dead. Okay. Slightly different strategy. I hate this game so much. Words do not express how bad this platforming is. Nothing I tell you is going to convey how bad this is. By the way, did you notice how the spiders, when they do that knockover animation, they actually heal a bit? I don't know if you noticed that. It's one of the reasons it's so hard to kill these damn things. And they're also invincible when they're knocked over like that. Just to add to that.
I think I have the strength to go on.
Do you, though? I don't think I do. Frodo. Look at how little damage we do. Especially compared to how much damage they do. Much worse, hardball game. This is already worse. Like, literally already worse. I am in awe. Do you also see how long our wind down is? Anytime we're hit, we just have this colossal delay before we can do anything. Wow, I sure hope that you remembered how to do that from the last game, because you notice nothing told you, like, how to do anything I just did. I don't think this will beat Secret of the Stars. I don't think this will beat Starfield. Like, if you look at the... Hey, someone in chat, type exclamation mark bottom. So, I've been debating how to format that, and I'm looking for any advice from anybody who wants to give it. There's an idea I had, actually, a while ago. But, I forgot about, and then I had the idea again recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I already did that. No, it's right there. Like, it worked. In reaction to, looks like Wolverale. I have spam protection on, so it doesn't respond multiple times. Of course, that's what happened.
I'm sure you'll get it this time.
Well, I was going to include the golden numbers, but the problem is, how? Like I said, I'm thinking about formatting. So, like, any thoughts, any ideas? I don't mean generically, I mean, like, specifics. Actual text formatting. Oh my god, you're right. 2 Mario games from the top. I didn't even think about that. You know, as bad as the last game was, at least it was just painful and unpleasant to play. I appreciate you, Omega Legion. Solidarity! Flip the table. There is also a Mario game in the bottom 5. That's actually a really good point. Clearly, I'm biased. Quit it. I could try Collins. Give me a minute. Well, so far, I'm leaning towards getting rid of it, because they're noticeably worse checkpoints. Like, I could demonstrate how much worse the checkpoints are. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. So, you notice how the pink flashing is still happening? I don't think it's an emulator glitch. I think that's just supposed to be environmental effect, because this is a pre-rendered. Or pre-captured, more accurately. So, that means it's a deliberate graphical choice. There has been one Noctis Exalt. Quest 64. I like how they use the exact same "yeah" for every single one of those attacks. The exact same one. Blah, 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 blah.
Ignitus! Get down here, young dragon. We need your help.
I would, but I'm just going to watch you die instead. Is that cool? Oh no, we'll never reach him now. Whoop. How can we fly? Actually, it's interesting. Can we fly still? In the last game, we had to go through a whole power-up sequence to learn how to fly. And then we got depowered for this game.
You're on your own with this one, fella.
This one? How is that different than the last one? Or the one before that?
Prepare to die!
Huh?
It said something about preparing to die. Either that or he wants you to repair a pie. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Way to completely ruin the joke, game. By the way, I can't go back or forward. I can only strafe, if you're wondering why this is so frustrating.
You haven't seen the last of me!
I'm just gonna assume you said it was great meeting you and have a nice day. In which case, we thank you.
Is everyone all right?
Could we please leave this section so we stop getting flashbanged?
Where's Cinder?
Dead! Let's go!
See anything, Ignitus?
No. I can't see where Cinder has gone. Just darkness.
Wait, Cinder, darkness. Aren't they the same thing?
What's this? Something is coming into focus. This is peculiar. I see you at the base of a great tree, amidst a lake of mist and gloom.
A tree? I've seen that tree, in my dreams. Only, they usually feel more like nightmares.
Young dragon, you've been keeping secrets. What is it you see in these dreams of yours?
I'm sorry, Ignitus. I thought they would go away, but they only get worse.
Relax, Spyro. Think.
That didn't answer the question.
I keep seeing a mountain, draped in shadow. A face of stone beneath two moons. And darkness.
The Mountain of Malefor.
Whoa! Am I the only one that thought that was weird?
There was another, but it was more like I was seeing into the past and the future all at once. And there was a voice, calling himself the Chronicler. That's when I saw the tree.
Impossible.
Yeah, no kidding. There isn't even a storm.
The Chronicler?
What? Don't encourage him.
I don't believe it either. I've not heard that name in ages.
Nor has anyone. Well, there is no way that Spyro could have known. This is... dragon of immeasurable wisdom. Though I've only heard stories. Yet now I am left to wonder.
Tales of the chronicler are often interwoven with tales of doom.
Oh, goody. I was afraid we might have to spend the rest of the night without any more doom.
It was only a matter of time, Ignitus. We've all felt it. A great...
And the flashbanging is back.
Perhaps. But we mustn't rush to judgment. This evening has brought about many unexplained things.
We may not have time, Ignitus. The celestial moons are almost at an eclipse. This we know for certain. We must prepare for the worst. The night of eternal darkness draws nigh.
If nigh means soon, I'm out of here.
Your instincts, though faint of heart, are true. We are no longer safe here. This recent attack is likely the first of many. The forces of the Ape King know of Spyro's existence and will not rest until they witness his demise.
Demise. Hate to be you. What? You guys need to lighten up.
Sparks, why are you still a terrible character?
Thor is right. As uncertain as things are, none of us can remain idle and watch our worst fears unfold before us.
Exactly. We need a good hiding place.
Voltaire, you and Cyril must go to the mainland to learn what news you can. Terador, make haste to the Shattered Vale and warn the inhabitants of that region that darkness is spreading in Malifaux. I shall stay back and search for Cinder. These are dangerous times for a dragon to be wandering about. May our ancestors look after us and keep us safe in these dark times.
What should I do, Ignitus?
Young dragon, you must travel by another path and seek out the tree from your dream. If the stories of the chronicler are true, there may be hope for us yet. And I think I know where to begin.
Please stop with the flashbanging.
There is an ancient grove within the forest at the end of the Silver River. It is a secret place untouched by civilization. The waters there are poisonous, as well as the creatures who are notified, but you shouldn't encounter any real danger. Trust your instincts. I shall be waiting for you here at the temple when your task is complete.
Oh, yes, Loverly. He always sends us to the nicest places.
Come on, Sparks, it's not that bad.
Well, sure, if you ignore all the evil beasts and visions of doom and eternal darkness, which sounds lovely, by the way. Oh, and the fact that we now get to frolic through the magical, creepy forest in search of some stupid tree? What's not to love?
You're psyched. Let's go.
Okay, I'm not seeing any flashes. I'm not seeing any flashbangs. So, hopefully it was limited to that one freaking stage. Oh my god. Almost is the important part there, Mr. Ed. Almost. He's not quite there, and his tone is completely wrong. Oh, I have no idea, Kid Viper. Oh, wait, actually I do know, and I keep a completely separate list. Privately, of course. Or I keep track of those games. That's the... Oh. Shoot, what do we call that list? Guys, what do we call... Oh, the want to play list. That's it. Because, see, there's the want to review list, and there's the want to play list. And you're probably thinking, what's the difference? Well, I want to review... What's a random example? Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, right? Because that game is trash, and I can't wait to absolutely dissect how bad it is and see how far down it goes. Or yeah, Command & Conquer 1. Like, that's a lot of personal significance, huge relevance to the RTS genre, historical relevance. You get it, right? That's a game I absolutely want to review. Don't really want to play that game again. Because I remember Command & Conquer 1 very well, actually. In fact, fun fact, I already have my notes for that run. Yes, really. They're right here, in fact. Don't worry, we will kill Dave in Mission 3. Points if you get it. But, yeah. But no, want to play is different. Want to play is exactly what it sounds like. It's a game I really want to play. Some of it is stuff I've already played, like Factorio and Satisfactory and Frostpunk. Some of it is stuff I really want to play that I haven't yet, like Pocopia, or that Voyager game, or Metroid Prime 4, or Donkey Kong Bonanza. But that's the want to play list. Alright, so I'm having trouble dissecting how bad this game is. Hey, Mr. Red, could you come up with a colorful analogy for this game? No, I'm actually not that into Valheim. I mean, I'll play it with Pax. I hope he'll play it with me. But, like... I don't know. Like, it's just not that high up for me. It's fun. Regurgitate... No. That's... okay, hang on. That is a hell of a mental image. Hang on, I need a second. I need puppies or something. Yeah, Valheim, exactly. Like, streaming Valheim will be fine, I'm sure. It'll be a typical review. If anybody wants to hop in while I'm doing it, they'll be allowed to, within reason. Usual rules for that kind of a thing. But no, the playthrough of Valheim I'm looking forward to is the one I'm going to do with PAX. Age of Mythology R? I mean, Age of Mythology is legit, so... yeah, I think Pajama Day, you get a freaking silver medal. Just... or silver star. Silver medal. Jesus Lord, wake up, wake up. What was his least favorite, Ross? Oh, God, Lunarith. Oh, okay. Less gross, please. I'm still feeling a little nauseous. Please, just work with me here. I am a lot less stressed about the Age of Empires 2 run we're going to eventually do. Can anyone guess why? Does anyone already know why? Does anyone pay attention enough to know why? I didn't come up with those, by the way, Ben when I. Yes, I will take that. Thank you, Mr. Red. It's actually gotten worse from Falkenstein. So it looks like Ben One Eye is the only one who knows what I'm talking about. Anybody who cares, do me a favor, go to the website, look at the list, and sort by name, and scroll down to the A's. Shouldn't be a large scroll, because, you know. Look for the Age of Empires 2 stuff, and that should explain it. Yeah, I sectioned off the DLCs, which, let me tell you, that was just a huge stressor off my mind. Honestly, no, I don't think I will, Noctis. I haven't decided, but... maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, there are many of them. It's probably not obvious. So, I mean, you just said it's by the DLCs, and it is. But each of those contains several campaigns, I suppose. I actually did some work on figuring out which campaigns were in which, how long each campaign was roughly, and, you know, basically I didn't just say, all right, that's 15, that's 15, that's 15, that's 15. I mean, it's that or we never play Age of Empires 2. That's what that boils down to, Ben and I, because we started running into this interesting problem. I already noticed it. Like, I've already noticed it now, where Age of Empires 2's funding was not keeping up with the rate of new DLCs being added. So it was actually curving downwards. Okay. It's pretty far up there, Benoit. It's definitely some kind of record. Okay. Yes, Lord Hammond. Someone help me out. When was the last Age of Empires 2 DLC? Because I'm pretty sure it was this year. Yeah, exactly, Vespine. AoE 2 is going strong. Okay. Was it 2 weeks ago? God, that's actually more recent than I thought. I'll buy it. Okay. I'm just happy to not be getting flashbang. It's nice, you know? But that's an interesting question, isn't it? Is Age of Empires 4 abandoned? Was it sacrificed to 2? Or is that, like, different teams? Because, I mean, in Reality Land, there's no reason you can't actually have both games being concurrently developed. Obviously, there's an old strategy of don't compete with yourself. But that also tends to forget the fact that a lot of people don't want to just play the exact same game over and over again. Like, people who like RTS games tend to like other RTS games as well. Like, I think StarCraft 2 is the best RTS ever made. That doesn't mean I don't... It doesn't mean I just want to play StarCraft 2 forever. That's silly. That's Total War fans. I mean, fair. Not to sound complaining, is there any real music in this game, Mr. Red? Do you remember? Like, does music exist? Have we left music behind? It did, Ross. It couldn't afford music. Okay, real talk, ambient music. Let me walk that sentence back. Bad ambient music. It's a lot cheaper to make than, you know, good ambient music or indeed real music. Okay, did you see that? That was, honestly, I think that was about 4 seconds of recoil from being hit by their freaking attacks. Who made this game? It can't be Chrome. I still have some RAM left. Underpaid Australians. Now that's a more accurate answer. Look at that freaking knockback. It's insane. You're welcome, Vespine. I'm glad you liked it. I am looking forward to digging into AoE 2 someday. The beginning of AoE 2. Maybe not all of it. Maybe not all of it. I'm only one man. There's only so many hours in the day. Get off of me! Oh my god! I'm pretty sure that's been tried at least once somewhere, Dame Celeste. What? Okay. Oh my god, this game. I hate you, game. I hate you. This isn't... Lenirith, I'm sorry, you're about to hear 2 songs at once because there's no music playing. So, here. No, 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 no. Random. Get off! Oh my god, this game. And they're back. Get off of me. Thank you.
Let's do it!
Really? Game? Digimon Giga. No. Mega Man. Easy answer. Seriously, Blade Devolve. Yeah, I'm gonna let this one play. Screw y'all. I'll turn it down a bit though. Probably not, Giga, which is the point. Extremely little, Blade Travel. Oh, wow. This game apparently sold 420,000 copies. That's actually pretty good. Sorry. I mean, they didn't recoup any of their money with that. Sorry, 1 second. Thank you, Kid Viper. I admit this is a little bit less professional than I like to look normally, but the whole point of this was to look something appropriate for, you know, the run. Can you imagine actually having a good Spyro game, Mr. Ed? Wouldn't that be a great Spyro-themed thing? I am sorry this is taking so long. This is a colossal pain in the ass, but if it works, it will be 100% worth it. So please bear with me. Okay, so... Alright, we're doing something much more complex than Cheat Engine, which is why it's taking so damn long. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so, what do we got here? I mean, I'm told there's even worse than this, which, I gotta be real, is just wild to me. No, I do not, Blade. I can tell you, I can see my future right now. I can already see exactly where this game is going and how it's going to go. I can see the future. Didn't we just play this song? Jesus. Yeah, Devil May Cry 2. So I've talked about this concept before. There's this really weird phenomenon, which doesn't actually get reflected in the reviews, kind of on purpose, where there are really bad games that aren't really awful to play, for whatever reason. Usually something like built-in cheats or whatever, or just really, really being boring or easy. And then there's games that are just absolutely atrocious to play and just make me want to rip my hands off. And that's this one. The previous game was the former. Starfield, right? Starfield is a smooth and easy game to play. You know why? Because it has a console command. And that is why, to be clear, that is the reason. Starfield without console command would be misery personified. Which is why the review score reflects that, in it being the second worst game I've ever reviewed. Alright, let's save this and see if this works. That looks right. Why are they unlabeled? Hang on one second, sorry. Ah, whatever. The other one, 100% Blue Dragon Racing. The first game was much less frustrating to play than this. Alright, let's see if that helps any, shall we? Please work. Nope. Immediately didn't work. Just instantly. Wow, that's just... all that work. It's not doing anything. Crashed the game. That's cool. Okay. Hello, game? Oh my god, it really did crash. Like, hard. Hang on a second. There we go. Jesus Christ, game. That's true. We're dealing with more than just monkeys. That's something. And 607. Sorry. I mean, it was pretty bad, this tread. I'm not gonna lie. I may just have to knuckle down on this, because unless I can get something pretty specific working, I might not bother. Yeah, I don't know who that person was, Kid Viper. Who could possibly have said that thing? Excuse me. I am trying to get infinite health working. I feel like that would help with everything. And, you know... Because that part I could still kind of gauge, like, if an enemy is knockbacking me constantly, or stunning me, or hitting me annoyingly, or whatever, I could still see that, even if I'm living through it, right? This cannot possibly be everything. Isn't this big and dramatic? Ah, here we go. Where's the... This is Mr. Red's fault. This is not a joke. Damn it. I think I'm gonna have to live with it. I think there's no cheating. Okay. Okay. I tried. I spent too much time on this. I do apologize, everyone. By the way, someone asked me recently if all of these pauses when I'm not playing the game count against the game's time, to which the answer is no, of course not. It always weirds me out that I have to answer that question. I've been doing this for years. I've always been removing, and in some cases, adding time to the runtime to accommodate moments like these, depending on, you know, what's happening. If I play off camera, that counts. If I sit here and spend 20 minutes trying to cheat, that counts, right? One more attempt. Just the one. Just the one. And then I will give up. There we go. Okay, so let's try this first and see what happens. Okay, so the game has crashed. Okay, perfect. Yes. Yes, that's what I wanted to have happen. God damn it. Instant crash. Okay. Um... Okay, yeah, that's that. I can't do anything more. We're done here. This is as good as this is getting. Okay, yeah, this is a good thing. By the way, if you're wondering why I had my own music playing earlier, this is the in-game music. By the way, did you notice the breath attacks don't stun anymore? So their only actual use, because they never did good damage, except for Earth. So their only actual use is now gone. You missed the flashbanging earlier, didn't you, Giga? Of course. I do not believe you, Mr. Ed. To be quite honest. As of this moment in time, the overall combat is the worst. Enemies hit too hard. Your stun animation is too long. They are too precise with their attacks. They're attacking you en masse. You have too little kit to deal with them. They all hit you like a truck. You have no health upgrades to speak of. Any death is severely penalized. It takes forever for their health to pop out. Like, they took boring combat and made it awful. And that's not as much of an improvement as you'd think.
Onwards to battle!
Also made her breath worse. So... And the checkpoints are worse. I should be writing this all down. Oh god, I lost all progress. I lost all progress.
Let's do it.
I want you to know I'd put this game down right now, Mr. Rook. This is not my first quit point. This is my last quit point. You understand what I mean? This is when I would put this game down, right here. At these, it's a narrow corridor with 3 enemies that have knockbacks and stuns, and a big enemy that hits me for half my health every time he successfully hits me. I have a weak flame, which does very little damage and does not stun.
Here we go.
And the checkpoint is before this, so I have to do both of these packs near flawlessly because the amount of health they give me back from dying is pathetic.
Why don't you try shooting some magic out of your face?
Actually, I'm curious. Can I level anything up? Oh, I can. So this is also frustrating, by the way. So, leveling is capped. Gated might be a better word for that. Which means they always know what level you're going to be. Because you can't be a higher level than a certain area. Which means leveling is now pointless. There's no grinding. There's no going and farming red orbs. There's no reward for doing optional side stuff to get bonus experience. You've actually noticed, or maybe you haven't, there are little side areas you can go down, and when you do, you get extra bits of experience that are pointless because there's no over leveling. I know that sounds strange, but that's kind of one of the points of having a leveling system in this game, is to allow the player to control their progression rate, right? Their power progression. So if they want to be underleveled, they can. If they want to be at level, they can. If they want to be overleveled, they can. All of that's been taken away. There's just make the generic number go up at the level that they mandate on a per stage basis. And that's terrible. I'm going to go and chop off, but not for the reason you're thinking. It's because there is so much going wrong here that I'm going to spend my entire lunch break sitting here and typing up some essays in the review document. And I don't want to make you sit here and watch me type, because that's boring as sin. So I'm going to go type for a while. And then I'll be back. I might eat too.